Well, in November, you're going to be heading up a new ministry, Ministry of Community, Culture and Youth. And one part of the, one big part is the arts as well. That's something you're going to be looking after. We have a caller now waiting. He's from the arts community. Can you hear us?
Hi, yes, I can hear you.
Hello. You have a question for the minister?
Hi, yes, my name is Jun Feng. I'm a filmmaker.
Yes.
Well, my first question pertains to the role of the arts and culture in society. How will the MCCY ensure that the arts is a safe space to explore some of these pertinent issues, whether they are social or political?
Okay, so that's the first question, right?
Yeah,
I'll answer the first question
I'm
first.
asking because, the arts is, since we're talking a lot about engagement and conversation, the arts is very often regarded as, the soul of society. The voices of artists are very often, a good representation of the sentiments that are happening on the ground.
Very much so.
So how would you engage with these conversations rather than silence them? And is there an active consciousness in doing so?
Well, certainly that's one of the things that, one of my priorities as we transit into the new ministry is to really to engage all the artists who are out there. And I think NICA is already doing that. NAC, the National Arts Council, is already doing that. And as we transit to the new ministry, I personally would like to do that as well, to get to know the different groups, what interests, what areas they would like to pursue. And certainly we would like in the new ministry to provide more opportunity, more space for a more vibrant and diverse arts community to allow our artists to pursue different peaks of excellence. Because as you said, arts is really an area which brings fulfillment to life, which really uplifts our spirit. And so it's an important area which we would certainly want to invest in.
Okay. Well, I think it's great that the government is trying to broaden this reach of the arts. We're talking about, raising cultural literacy, and I think that's very important. But, I think the worry is that, it's at the expense of artistic excellence. The role of arts and culture is not just for personal enrichment and entertainment. Very often the role of arts is also in challenging the audience, both in form and in content. And I think it's perfectly okay if different works of art or films bring about some discomfort, because very often that is what art is meant to do, right? So from there, when a discourse takes place, it inspires ideas and debates. And I believe so long as it's done responsibly and so long as there is an active discourse and going on, it has to be healthy.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. And there is certainly that particular role in arts to cause us as a people to reflect and to think about ourselves or about our own humanity. And arts plays an important role in that. It can be provocative, and we should encourage different forms of art and help our artists achieve excellence in the different areas of arts which they are pursuing.
Okay. Well, there's a second question that I wanted to ask, which also talks about a marginalized community in Singapore, which is the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender Singaporeans. From the earlier caller, I was listening in talking about single parenthood. I kind of disagree in that some of these issues need to necessarily be consensus-based, especially when some of these communities are a minority. And when a minority group is concerned, how would the government be protecting them? And I'm talking about the LGBT community in Singapore.
Yeah. No, I understand where you are coming from. We should respect the consensus of society, but I think it's also important that we respect every individual and treat each individual with dignity, and regardless of one's beliefs, regardless of what the behaviors or the preferences of a particular community or individual, all of us should treat each other with dignity and respect. And so I think there is something about consensus that's important to understand, but it's also another, it's also important to have that sense of understanding and acceptance of individuals for who they are.
Well, but the reality is that LGBT people, while there is a growing acceptance in Singapore and growing support through events like Pink Dot, for example, the reality is there's also still a lot of discrimination and prejudice. So should it not be the role of the government to help educate and alter misconceptions about some of these minority groups? Because, I mean, the truth is, you know, there are thousands of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people living in Singapore, and many of them are hardworking, talented individuals who contribute to society, who have their families, who love their families. So, how does should it not be the role of the government as well to be educating the public about some of these things?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is a role for all parts of society to play, I think. What more can the government do, or what exactly should the government do? I think we can discuss that in terms of whether it's public education awareness. But in the end, as I said, it's more important that we also look beyond what the government can do and look at society more broadly, between people to people, how we help to raise understanding, raise awareness. And at the end of the day, I think it's important that we accept individuals for who they are, and it's important that we give support to people, you know, regardless of what their preferences may be. So I think there is certainly we can talk about what role government can play, but let's also think more broadly beyond the role of the government to how we as individuals behave, how we as individuals can reach out to others in a way that treats one another with dignity and respect.
Thank you. I look forward to this inclusive society that we're always talking about.
Yeah, thank you.